Today we're going to be doing an astrology natal chart analysis looking at Lisa from BLACKPINK. Lisa is a phenomenon. She officially debuted as a member of BLACKPINK at the age of 19, and throughout her career, her success only skyrockets. Her YouTube channel has over 11 million subscribers, making her the most subscribed female K-pop artist on the platform. And according to Guinness, Lisa's song Money broke the record for the first K-pop track by a solo artist to reach 1 billion streamers, and she is the most followed K-pop artist on Instagram with over 100 million followers. But more importantly than all of her achievements, her music is fire. Okay, so before we dive into her chart, I wanted to give a quick analogy to some of the terminology in astrology. So if you think of life as a movie, the planets show us what is happening. They are the actors in a movie. The signs show us how. How is it happening? And they're like the characters the actors play in a movie. Some actors play certain characters really well, and others not so much. Now the houses show us where. Where is it happening? They're like the setting in a movie. And lastly, the aspects show us the conversation. How the planets communicate with each other. Some characters get along really well together, while others constantly get in each other's way. So now moving on to the birth chart reading. So according to astrotheme.com, I have that Lisa was born on March 27th, 1997 at 12:45 p.m. in Buriram Province, Thailand. And as a side note, I don't know how accurate this birth time is, but for the purpose of the reading, we're just gonna go with it. Now, if we look at her chart, on the left side here, we see the ascendant. The ascendant marks the point on the horizon when you're born and symbolizes your basic personality traits, physical appearance, temperament, and the first impression people might get from you. Now, Lisa is a Cancer rising, and if we take a look at her appearance, Lisa is very soft and feminine. And while we often see her in music videos and photo shoots all done up and eccentric, I feel her natural features are complemented with the Cancer elements. Her rounded eyes, her cheeks, her lips, they are enhanced with more of like a soft glam makeup style that includes blended neutrals and pinks, dewy skin, and soft blush. Her hair really looks amazing in soft flowy curls, big waves to really emphasize her roundedness and her facial features. And the colors I think really look amazing on her are these pearl whites, silvers, and soft blues. In regard to personality traits, Cancer risings tend to be naturally sensitive, nurturing, and protective. But they sometimes may give off a cool and collected appearance when you first meet them. Cancer's symbol is the crab, and the meaning of Cancer is about directing your emotional energy towards things that are most important to you. Yet, feeling emotionally vulnerable is not an easy thing, which, like the crab, is why many people form a protective shell around themselves. Now, Lisa's chart ruler, or ruler of the ascendant, is the moon. The chart ruler is like the captain of the ship of the natal chart. The planet, location, and sign of the chart ruler can give insight into how the native or individual will live out their lives. If you go back and think of life as a movie, the chart ruler would be the director of the movie. And for Lisa, her moon is in Scorpio in the 5th house. With the moon in Scorpio, this brings a deep connection to nurturing emotions and intuition. There's a drive for emotional security and caring for others. With Scorpio added to the mix, the flavor for emotional security is deepened with intensity, passion, and transformation. There is a strong need for deep emotional connection for her. With her chart ruler, the moon, in the 5th house, the house of creativity, children, and play, there is a natural affinity for self-expression. Her superpower is allowing her sensitivity to guide her self-expression through her art and music. Okay, moving on to the midheaven. The midheaven, or MC, is the most visible point at the top of the chart and symbolizes social status, career, reputation, fame, and success. This is part of the chart that most people and fans of Lisa will see. And unsurprisingly, she has an Aries midheaven. A native with an Aries midheaven may have a tendency to elude a fiery determination for career success or fame. Aries is about activation and individuality. And with Aries at the most visible point on the top of your chart, you will get ambition to ignite yourself to the limelight. If you think of Lisa's career success, it is undoubtedly explosive. Lisa's solo debut in 2021 with her single album La Lisa sold over 700,000 copies in the first week in South Korea. And her music video set the record for the most viewed music video as a solo artist in the first 24 hours, breaking over 70 million views. Also, as a side note, we have here a very helpful aspect with Jupiter, the planet of expansion, growth, and coherence. Jupiter is in Aquarius in the 8th house of shared resources. So there is a lot of positive help Lisa is getting from Jupiter that directly benefits her career. 8th house is about contracts you make with other people. So a specific example of this would be when she first signed her contract with YG during the formation of BLACKPINK. So as you can see in her chart, there's a lot going on in Aries in addition to her midheaven. Now, while Lisa's chart ruler and ascendant are in water signs, Cancer and Scorpio, her chart is dominated by fire. Lisa has what we call a stellium, or 3 or more planets in the sign of Aries. Her Sun, Venus, Saturn, and Mercury. And the Sun, Venus, and Saturn are all in a close conjunction or within 3 degrees of each other. What a conjunction means is that these 3 planets, their energies and significations are all closely intertwined together. It is the most powerful aspect, and with so many planets in the sign of Aries, we get a person who is seen as a strong, independent, driven, and essentially a badass woman. Not only are these planets in Aries, but they are all located in the 10th house of career. So a lot of her fiery energy is directed towards reputation, fame, and success. If we look at the sun represents a person's identity and where you shine your light in the world. It radiates, energizes, identifies, and sees. With the Sun and Venus together, we have an intertwining of beauty, connection, aesthetics with the self-identity and self-expression. This brings about someone whose identity is influenced with how they appear and how they relate and connect to people. And with this combination located in the 10th house, it's no wonder that Lisa rose to fame as an artist, with Venus being so closely influenced with the Sun and Midheaven. Now, the Sun also makes a trine aspect to Pluto in Sagittarius, the planet of power and transformation. A trine is generally seen as a helpful aspect, and with this particular communication, we get an individual with profound charisma and personal power. There is a resilience to undergo self-transformation and even an acceptance or affinity for it. Now, I think her song New Woman is a perfect example of this transformative and self-empowerment type of energy. If we take a look at her Saturn and Sun conjunction, now this is really interesting, and it brings a very different twist to her identity in light. With this type of connection, there is a challenge to build a structure that provides room for yourself to play. How can Lisa be disciplined and authentic? And with Lisa just starting her Saturn return, or basically when Saturn comes back to its location at birth, these lessons are yet to be fully realized and matured. On a more positive note, Saturn in the 10th house gives her a lot of structure to how she goes about creating her art and music. It gives her a more of a manager or producer mindset, which can be very beneficial for high production types of work. And again, with Venus thrown into the mix, we can see a person who works long and hard in order to obtain skill and craft in an art form. Now, the last planet in Aries is Mercury. Mercury is about how you think and communicate. And with Mercury in Aries in the 10th house, again, we get someone who uses their quick and fiery voice to achieve success and recognition in their career. Now, with all this combined together, Mercury, Venus, the Sun, all mixed up, it very much explains Lisa's natural talent at rapping and high energy music. Now, we have all of these planets in Aries in the 10th house of career, but what's also important to look at is the ruler of the 10th house, which is Mars. In Lisa's chart, Mars is in retrograde in Virgo in the 3rd house. Now, with Mars retrograde, it's a little bit interesting. There is more of an inward directed energy when it comes to taking action or asserting oneself. In the 3rd house of communication and day-to-day interactions, this placement could indicate a slowing down of energy, or maybe someone who likes to avoid conflict. Mars retrograde could also provide a delay from acting too rash or impulsively, allowing the individual to really consider what they're going to say before they say it. With Mars in the sign Virgo, there is a drive for careful observation and a tendency for perfection when executing tasks. As a singer and dancer, this placement allows her to really perfect her work. However, also it could cause her to be quite hard on herself in order to be perfect. Virgo is a sign of details and skills, and with Mars, the planet of action, drive, conflict, we get an individual who meticulously hammers away at their sword of pursuit. They're like a blacksmith who is dedicated to their craft. As a side note, Lisa is also fluent in 3 languages, and with Mars and Virgo in the 3rd house of communication, there's a really strong ability to learn and an analytical approach to learning and communication. So a really interesting thing that I always like to pull up with celebrity charts is looking at transits for the lunar nodes and eclipse cycles. The lunar nodes are calculated points where the sun and moon will form eclipses. And eclipses are basically points of great activation, transformation, and sometimes unpredictable change. Basically, what you can do is see what houses the nodes are transiting through to get an idea of what change is occurring for someone. When the eclipses are transiting through the midheaven or the 10th house of career, oftentimes we see celebrities suddenly becoming known or they rise to fame. If we go back and look at the Aries Libra eclipse cycle, it went from 2013 to 2016, with the last Aries eclipse in September 2015 at 5 degrees Aries, which, if you look at the transiting chart, tightly conjuncts Lisa's Sun, Venus, and Saturn. Now, if we look at that time, Lisa was officially revealed as the 2nd member of BLACKPINK on June 7th, 2016, and officially made their debut on August 8th, 2016. And now if we jump ahead, the last eclipse cycles from 2023 to 2025, we have again in Aries and Libra, with the last Aries eclipse on March 29th, 2025. And if you follow Lisa's activities, you can see once again that she is very much in the spotlight. On February 8th, 2024, Lisa announced that she had established her own agency, Loud, to manage her solo activities. On June 28th, 2024, she released her single Rockstar. On August 16th, 2024, she released the single New Woman. October 4th, 2024, she released Moonlit Floor. And then on February 8th, 2025, she released her album Alter Ego. So as you can see, there's a lot of activity with her career and what she's releasing and showing to the world during these times. Now, I also want to point out this trine between Jupiter at 15 degrees Gemini with Lisa's natal Jupiter at 14 degrees Aquarius. So there's a lot of expansion, luck, growth, a lot of positive energy that is lighting up her 8th house of shared resources, contracts, sponsorships, other people's monies, loans, etc. And as a side note, Lisa has really big collaborations in her album Alter Ego, including Doja Cat, Rosalita, Megan Thee Stallion, Tyla. So it really goes to show how big of an impact Jupiter has for her collaborations in her 8th house through this transit. The last thing that I would pay attention to in a celebrity chart is their 11th house. The 11th house is the house of community and relationships to peers, groups, and essentially your people. For an artist, this is especially important because it relates to their fans and people who watch them and are aware of them. For Lisa, her 11th house is Taurus, and while we don't have any planets in that house, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. We know that, right? So what we can do is we can look at the ruler of the house and see where it is located in her chart. So the ruler of Taurus is Venus, and again, Venus is located in Aries. And I think this ties everything together very nicely in an obvious way. Her public view, her career, profession, and everything she puts out there when it comes to her music is directly correlated with her fans and her community. So overall, the theme of Lisa's chart is very contrasting. There is a side to Lisa that is very deep, receptive, nurturing, and emotional that is not openly displayed to the public, but it's something that is vital to her needs and security. There is a lot that goes on underneath the calm and collected, or even fiery surfaces that she shows to the world. For her, it's about finding the balance between the fire and water of her life, and making sure the emotional and receptive side is nurtured and cared for just as much as the drive and ambition. Okay, I hope you enjoyed my chart reading for Lisa. Thanks so much for watching. I absolutely love looking at birth charts and would be happy to do another, so let me know in the comments who you would recommend. Until next time, bye for now.